Hello and welcome to Cascade High School in Clayton, Indiana. My name is Lec Zorn and I'll be bringing you all the action as your Cascade Lady Cadets challenge the Avon Lady Orioles in Game 21 of the Indiana High School basketball season. Well, every time the Lady Cadets are playing, that's good enough for me by itself, but this is an extra special occasion because it's Senior Day, in which this outstanding senior class will be honored before their final regular season home game. For about the last 10 years, these 7 extraordinary young ladies, Emilia Bryant, Olivia Bryant, Sophia Bryant, Abby Church, Catie Cleveland, Trinity Hostetler, and Hannah Rasnake, have spent thousands of hours, both together and individually, enduring blood, sweat, tears, and several injuries to top it off. But as a result of all that hard work, they've been part of one of the greatest senior classes ever in the 54-year existence of this school, and hopefully will cap it off by a deep tournament run in which they will go where no Cascade team has gone before. But first, they have 2 more regular season games starting tonight against one of their toughest opponents of the season, the cross-county rival Avon Lady Orioles, a Class 4A team who are one of the top turnaround stories of the year. Coming off 9 consecutive losing seasons and on their 4th head coach in 4 seasons, Avon enters this game with a record of 12-9 and is winning primarily with a core nucleus of a sophomore and 2 freshmen. They're led by 5'11" sophomore Hailey Nicholas, who averages team highs of 13.8 points and 8.5 rebounds per game, while shooting a phenomenal 67%. Yes, that's 67% from the field. In addition, 5'8" guard Zakia Rasheed is close behind in scoring with 13.4 points and 2 steals per game, while 5'11" freshman Alex Richard gives Nichols a lot of help on the inside, averaging 6.7 points, 6.3 rebounds, and a team-high 1.9 blocks per game. In addition, 5'4" sophomore Brooke Shelton is averaging 4 points and a team-high 2.9 assists per game, and 5'9" senior Kelsey Dishman is averaging 4.6 points per game. Cascade is led by 5'6" senior Olivia Bryant with 15.9 points, 2.7 assists, and 2.4 steals per game, all team highs. 6' senior Hannah Rasnake also averages in double figures with 14 points per game, while 5'9" senior Emilia Bryant averages 7.6 points and a team high 8.7 rebounds per game. In addition, 6' senior Trinity Hostetler averages 1.9 points and 5.3 rebounds per game. And over the last few games, 5'8" sophomore Taylor Norris has entered the starting lineup, replacing Sophia Bryant. Norris is averaging 4.6 points and 3.4 rebounds per game. Cascade's head coach is David Carpenter, who's 42-26 in his 3rd season with the Lady Cadets. Avon's head coach is Corey White, who's 12-9 in her 1st season with the Lady Orioles and 77-34 in her 5th season overall. She spent the last 4 seasons as the head coach at Newcastle, winning a sectional championship with the Lady Trojans last season. Well, at this time, we'll take a short pause for a few words from our sponsors, and then we'll be back with the opening tip-off. Cascade Avon Senior Day action coming at you live. Next. The Cascade High School Athletic Department simply would not be able to operate without the financial support of our business partners. We would like to recognize and thank them for their generosity. The official health provider to the cadets, Hendricks Regional Health. Diamond Partners, Bestway Drywall and North Salem State Bank. Platinum Partners, Allen Irrigation Company, CJ's Pizza, and Dunn Insurance Agency. Gold Partner, Endeavor Communications. Silver Partner, Electric Plus. Bronze Partner, Hankey Photography, and DMH Photographics. Thank you, business partners. Your support of the student athletes of Cascade High School is greatly appreciated. Well, back here at Clayton, we're just a few minutes away from tip-off, but first, we are currently have the Senior Day festivities going on, where these 7 young ladies are being escorted onto the court by their parents in advance of their final regular season home game. Of course, Cascade, because they host the sectional, these young ladies will play at home again in the tournament next week for at least one game, hopefully 3. We'll talk more about their sectional matchups later on. But right now, they're, like I said, these young ladies are being honored here, and it's great to see them along with their parents. I believe that both the mother and the father of all 7 players are here, with their daughters on the floor now, and that's great to see because family is just so important, and especially to the development of children. And one of the biggest problems in America right now is so many kids who have absent parents, especially absent fathers. And so anyway, the players have been gotten nice ovation from this crowd. We have a crowd of about 200 people here today, including about 70 Avon fans who made the trip from cross county. And these young ladies, they've each been given, it looks like some kind of goodie bag or something. I'm not sure what was in it. I remember the girls last year, they got a goodie bag. The 4 seniors last year each got a goodie bag, as well as a balloon, if I remember correctly. I'll have to go back and look at the game tape again. It was the game against Speedway, which still on the internet there on YouTube. But looks like they were all given some kind of gifts there. And not only the Lady Cadets players, but also the managers as well were honored. And if you're a fan, you probably have only been familiar with most of these young ladies for about 2 years, maybe 3. But the fact is that they've been part of this system for about 10 years now. They start off in elementary school with youth basketball. They go to all the summer camps, play in the youth leagues. And then, of course, they play the 7th grade. They play on the 7th grade team, 8th grade team, 9th grade team, and they work their way on to JV, finally up to the varsity team. And, they do so much before they get any significant recognition here in the community. And so, I'm always really happy when we get a good crowd on Senior Day to give these young ladies the kind of, ovation they deserve for everything they've put into this program and this community over the years. And hopefully they will cap it off with a big Senior Day win over a very tough opponent. But more importantly, hopefully they will close off their career at home with a sectional championship next week. Last year Cascade easily won its Senior Day game. Right here against Speedway, a game that my broadcast partner Rob Kindle and I commentated, and everything seemed all right with the world. But then just 8 days later, right back here at Cascade, they, in maybe the most painful upset in school history, lost to South Putnam 63-52, ending a dream season that looked like not only was it almost certain to produce a sectional championship, but also had a very good chance to produce the first regional championship in school history, and maybe even more. And what makes it even more heartbreaking in retrospect is that Triton Central, who was our likely first-round regional opponent and the number 2 ranked team in Class 2A, ended up getting upset in the sectional, which would have given us an easier path to go. But obviously it wasn't to be. And now with 3 starters returned from that team, we're hoping for redemption this season. And appropriately, the song they're playing right now over the PA is Living on a Prayer by Bon Jovi, a song that predates by over a decade all of these young ladies who are in this game tonight. But for those of us of my generation, I'm 47 years old, it's an anthem of hope that has carried over, thankfully, to the next generation, and it certainly is as a reminder of the high hopes that this team has. And it started off as a season that was really causing a lot of us fans worry and concern, as the Lady Cadets lost their first 6 games, and including their first 3 at home, 2 of them after blowing double-figure leads. But really, they slowly began to win in December, and then finally, in my opinion, they really got the season on track by beating South Putnam here on December 16th, moving us to 4-8. We followed that up by winning 5 of our next 6, which brings me to, my lead-in for this game, which is that last week was one of the oddest weeks in the history of Cascade Lady Cadets basketball. Last Thursday out at Cloverdale, Cascade fell behind a potential sectional opponent by a score of 30-12 in the second quarter before going on a 25-1 run and winning the game in double overtime. But unfortunately, because of a quirk in the schedule, that game having been rescheduled from true previous weather cancellations, it meant that Cascade had to, play 3 games in a row. They initially, had we're going to play Cloverdale a week ago Friday, then South Marillion a week ago Saturday, then have 5 consecutive days off before returning to action for their weekend homestand last Friday and Saturday against South Putnam and Plainfield respectively. But because of the Cloverdale game being rescheduled for Thursday, we had a game on 3 consecutive days. And last Friday and Saturday, Cascade simply was not playing at 100%. I mean, that they didn't have any personnel out with injuries, but because of the on Friday they played like a team that played a double overtime game the night before, and then on Saturday they played like a team that was playing its 3rd game in as many days, and they lost both games, 49-41 to South Putnam and 41-35 to Plainfield. And I think we would have won both games had the Cloverdale game been played when it was originally scheduled. Plainfield, ordinarily, I would have given them a slight edge, but they were playing without their starting center, Indira Peters, who leads the team in points and rebounds. So I think we would have won that game had we been playing at 100%. And, the last couple of days at work, I've listened to my commentary of those 2 games, and at the time I was concerned I was sounding like I was being too hard on the girls, and maybe there are a couple of plays where I were, but like I explained in the post game on Saturday, really my criticism was far more than anything else the position that the girls were put in, having to play 3 days in a row. It wasn't fair to them, and it wasn't fair to the fans, who were basically subjected to a team that was not in position to give its best performance, unfortunately. But now the Lady Cadets have had over 72 hours to recharge their batteries, and they're sure to come out fired up tonight against one of their toughest opponents of the season, Avon. Like I said, 12-9. They're a 4A team here in Hendricks County. They're good now. They're going to be awesome in a couple of years when Hailey Nicholas will be a senior and Zakia Rasheed and Alex Richard will be juniors. All 3 should end up playing Division I college basketball. So certainly I'll expect to see a lot of college scouts when I commentate Avon over the next couple of years. I've actually commentated these Lady Orioles twice this season, both times back in the Hendricks County basketball tournament in their semifinal, the quarterfinal round. They beat Tri-West, and then in this, they beat Tri-West in the quarterfinal, then lost to Plainfield, the eventual champion, in the semifinal. And they still have a little bit of rawness to them, a few rough edges that need to be polished. But for a 4A team that starts a sophomore, well, not only that, let me back up, for a 4A team whose 3 leading scorers are a sophomore and 2 freshmen, they're doing pretty darn well. And the inside combination of the 5'11" players, sophomore Hailey Nicholas and freshman Alex Richard is going to be a handful for the Lady Cadets. We'll see how they respond. Our top two inside players, Emilia Bryant, who's 5'9", and Trinity Hostetler, who's an even 6 feet, they're both seniors. In fact, they were both honored today here on Senior Day. But they don't have, in my opinion, the raw talent as do Nichols and Richard. So it'll be interesting to see whether the youth or the experience wins out. And, well, I guess whoever does the music programming here at Cascade must be from my generation, because, we just heard a little while ago Living on a Prayer by Bon Jovi. Now we hear Crazy Train by Ozzy Osbourne. And it's interesting, to observe how some people move from being considered the scum of the earth to respectability from one generation to the next. When I was growing up, if you wanted to horrify your parents, one of the best ways to do it was to have an Ozzy Osbourne album. I mean, that would really scare your parents, make them think that you were going to, get on drugs and join some suicidal cult or something like that. But now Ozzy's, now that we've seen through his reality show that he's a regular family guy, he's gotten to the point where, he doesn't scare people anymore. And in fact, I was really surprised when I was watching some cartoon animated film a few years ago called Romeo and Juliet, which is a kid's version of Romeo and Juliet, and he actually voiced one of the characters. And back in the 80s, nobody would have ever hired him, to do anything that was going to be aimed at kids. That would have been considered a threat to society. But anyway, back to the action here. One thing I want to say before I go back to, actually talking about this game. My favorite version of the song, Crazy Train, is on the 1987 live album, which was the Randy Rhoads tribute. It's a much more powerful version. And, in fact, that was my introduction to the song back in the spring of 1987 when I was in 10th grade. But anyway, getting back to the game here, this is also sort of a revenge match for Avon, because last year, in fact, it was a year ago tomorrow. It was my first ever Lady Cascade solo broadcast. Previously, all of my Cascade girls broadcasts had been with a broadcast partner, mainly Rob Kindle. And anyway, Cascade was near the end of a dream season, and Avon was near the end of its 9th consecutive losing season. And Avon jumped out to an amazing start. In fact, Hailey Nicholas, if I remember correctly, as a freshman, had 8 points in the first quarter. And Cascade was very sloppy. Avon was very, very aggressive. Cascade looked like they didn't know what hit them. In the second quarter, Avon led 39-19. And I started, thinking that the dream season was becoming derailed, and unfortunately 10 days later I was proven to be correct. But that night, though, Avon scored the last 4 points of the second quarter. Then in the third quarter, they slowly chipped away at the lead and continued in the fourth quarter, where they finally took the lead about midway through. And then the two teams traded the lead once or twice more after that. And finally, Bailey Walker with a jump shot put us up by 1 point with, I think, 28 seconds or so to go. She ended up with a career high, I believe a career high 28, including 20 at the second half. And then, as Avon was going for the winning shot in the final seconds, there was a foul on the rebound that put Olivia Bryant on the free throw line. She hit both shots, pushing the lead to 3 with 4.7 seconds to go. And then a three-pointer by Avon was no good at the buzzer. And I went crazy as we pulled off possibly the biggest win, the come-from-behind win in school history up to that point, which was surpassed last Thursday out at Cloverdale, a game in which I went even crazier. But, while Cascade did play very well to come back, Avon also did a lot to give that game away, in which their youth and inexperience showed a lot. They stopped their aggressiveness. They committed several foolish fouls, and really just became very timid rather than, playing with the killer instinct that they did, that got them the lead. And so, unfortunately, 10 days, well, the Cascade did play very well 2 days later in beating Speedway on Senior Day, a very bad Speedway team. But then, in the sectional semifinal game, 10 days after the Avon victory, Cascade again basically was very lackadaisical in the first half. Played like they looked like they could. They played as if they thought that they could win just by showing up, and they played as if they thought they could simply at will make a huge comeback like they did against Avon, but it wasn't to be this time, and Cascade never fully recovered from the slow start. They were trailed by 11 at the end of one, came back to tie in the third quarter at 27-29, but seemed to run out of gas in doing so. They were outscored 13-4 the remainder of the third quarter, and then in the fourth quarter they never got closer than 5, as Hannah Rasnake was really the only Lady Cadet who brought her A game that night. She did score 20 points. Bailey Walker scored 10 in her final high school game, and no other Lady Cadet cracked double figures. Bailey Walker, however, has recovered from that to play extremely well for Franklin College, where she's a freshman now. And I check every couple of weeks to see how she's doing. Last time I checked, she was leading the team in points, rebounds, steals, and blocks. So great to see that she's doing so well. And hopefully she'll just continue to blossom throughout her career. Don't know what her chance is to play pro ball, but certainly she's having a great college career and majoring in elementary education. So hopefully she will be out, educating our youth in a few years. Hopefully she'll come back and teach here in the Mill Creek system, and maybe also, get involved in some capacity with, the youth basketball. Certainly, even if she doesn't, I'm sure she'll make a great teacher as well as set a great example of physical fitness, which is something that's sorely lacking in this generation. People thought my generation was not physically active enough when we were at home playing our Atari 2600s all the time. And to some extent that was true, but it's nothing compared to this generation. So anyway, last year actually that win over Avon, well, let me back up. We've split our last 4 matchups with Avon. Prior to that, they'd won 6 in a row in the series. Not surprisingly, they're a 4A team. We're a 2A team. But now Avon is out warming up on the court, and meanwhile, Cascade is back in the locker room for some final instructions. I know they want to get a big win today. It's going to be a very emotional day as it is Senior Day. But at the same time, though, it's important that they strive for balance because they've got to save so much emotion for next week. I'm going to be talking later in the broadcast about the sectional draw we got, and I think overall it's a good draw. But the thing is, if we win the sectional championship, we are going to have to win 3 games. And while our first one against North Putnam a week from tonight should be an easy win, this North Putnam team, they're a pretty bad team. The South Putnam team that shocked us in the tournament last year I believe, were 13-10 entering that game. So that while they were nowhere near the magnitude that we were, they at least were a solid team, whereas North Putnam is they're not a solid team at all. They're not as bad as they were last year, but they're still not good. And if we were to lose that game, it would be, a shock even far greater than the South Putnam loss last year. So we should win that one. And if we win that game, then we will play Monrovia in the semifinal. And then if we win that one, we will be playing. And Monrovia is a kind of an average team. We beat them by 16 in the regular season. And then if we beat them, then we will play either Western Boone Cloverdale or or South Putnam for the championship. But and I'll talk more about the potential matchups later. But the point is, we're going to have to be focused for 3 individual games and bring our A game every night, or risk going home for the season and having just a crushing loss. So, and don't forget we have another regular season game left after tonight as well. So hopefully we will get a win tonight, but regardless, the main thing is we just have to stay focused, stay in the zone, and just bring our A game every game in the sectional next week, and make sure we don't have a letdown. Make sure, there's no guarantee we're going to win, but the main thing is if we do lose, make sure we don't lose for the wrong reasons this time. And at that, we will pause for the national anthem.
At this time, we would ask that you please rise, kindly remove your hats, and face the flag at the West End of the Gymnasium as we celebrate our freedoms, those who currently protect it, and to honor those who made the ultimate sacrifice for our country. Tonight's anthem is being performed by Cascade's own senior basketball members.
Well, that was quite a nice surprise there. I think every game I've ever commentated here at Cascade before, the national anthem was simply played on a recording of a symphony, but that national anthem was performed. It was sung a cappella by our Cascade seniors. So. Yeah, I knew they could play basketball. I didn't know they could sing as well, so that they did a very good job. We have a really nice crowd here tonight. Have somewhere in the neighborhood of 250 fans here, including probably about 70 or so who made the trip from Avon, cross county. And fans kept on piling in on a steady rate. Unfortunately, the crowd is a little bit smaller than it normally would be because of the aforementioned schedule quirk. The Cloverdale our Cloverdale game was supposed to be part of a boys-girls varsity doubleheader, but unfortunately because of the two schedule changes because of bad weather, the game the doubleheader ended up getting split, so that the boys are out there playing at Cloverdale tonight. So unfortunately, Cascade fans have to do something tonight that they don't normally have to do, which is to make a choice between supporting the boys or the girls. And even that being considered, we have an especially good crowd. And especially it should be noted that the Cloverdale boys team includes the leading scorer in the state in Jalen Moore, the 5'9" guard who averages 37.1 points a game and has signed to play college basketball at Utah State. He, as you might painfully remember, beat Cascade last year on a last-second shot at the buzzer when the game looked like it was headed into overtime. So now jumping, we've got Hailey Nicholas, and now okay, I see what they did. They just let Abby Church, who officially got the start. She's injured right now, but they let her symbolically take the opening tip. So anyway, is a nice way to get her in the game. Now she's hugging everyone down the line on the sidelines. So nice moment there, and so that she did get to participate in her senior game. So now we've got a jump ball there. Possession arrow favors Avon. Avon's a very big team, a very physical team, so Cascade better be ready on the inside. Catie Cleveland getting a rare start tonight. Don't know how long she'll stay in. Last year, only 2 of the 4 seniors started regularly, Michaela Collier and Bailey Walker. However, the other 2 seniors, Lexi Gross and Laura Batts, did start and played a few minutes each. Now a three-pointer to start off the game. No good there by Brooke Shelton. She's a 5'4" sophomore, also showing a lot of promise. Lost in the shadow of what I call the big 3 of this team, Nichols, Richard, and Rasheed. But Shelton, a very promising young point guard in her own right. So now Olivia brings it up. No score here in the first in the quarter. Now over to Hannah. No good on a jump shot. Richard passes down court. Now a pull-up three-pointer by Rasheed. No good. Rasheed gets her own rebound, however. A long rebound. Over a minute into the game. No score yet. So now Richard at the top of the key. Drives inside, pitches inside Nichols. Turns around, puts it off the glass, and she hits it. So Hailey Nichols opens the scoring in the game, and it's a 2-0 Avon lead here on Cascade Senior Day. And now Olivia inside to Trinity, puts it off the glass. No good. Rebound put up and in. That was Emilia Bryant. It's tied the game at 2, about a minute and a half in. This is and now drive to the basket by Richard, no good. Trinity the rebound, pitches out to Olivia, brings it up. And now drives to the basket, and stolen away by Hailey Nichols. However, she gives it up to Rasheed, brings it down, and there's some contact there. Let's see what the call is. That's on Olivia. We got to, keep her out of foul trouble. Into Rasheed. Well, Cascade, and now inside to Nichols. And now she over to Richard. Bad pass, however, and it goes out of bounds to Cascade. I'll tell you, one thing I note when I saw Richard, I was so impressed by how chiseled her body is and how physically mature she looks. If she, she's a freshman, but had it said on the roster that she was a senior, I would have believed it. That's how she looks. And now tried to hit Trinity inside, a steal attempt by Rasheed, and did she get the timeout or did she step out of bounds? Now Brianna Francis into the game for Avon. So it will be Lady Orioles ball, 5:39 to go here in the first quarter on Cascade Senior Day. So now they got Nichols under the basket. Pitches over to Richard. Inside to Dishman, who banks it in. It's a 4-2 Avon lead. And now taken away from Emilia at the other end. Hailey Nichols gets it. Pitches down court. Now feeds to Dishman. She lays it in. So 4 quick points by Kelsey Dishman. And it's a 6-2 lead. Now Olivia tries to take it over herself. Drives all the way in. It's blocked by Richard. And now pitches down court to Dishman. Lays it in. No good. She didn't put enough on it. So now the Avon controls the rebound. Now out to Brooke Shelton for 3. No good. And now I believe they got Richard fouling Cleveland on the rebound attempt there. But yeah, Richard's, a lot of the time when you see a 5'11 freshman, the player will look like a work in progress, but, the physical maturity of Alex Richards, one of the best I've ever seen for a freshman. So I'll be watching how that young lady develops over the next 3 years. And now a long 3 by Hannah. She hits it. Hannah's shot has never, quite gotten on track all year. It'd be nice if she could get a big senior day game here today. She cuts the lead to 1. Now inside to Richard. Gives over to a driving Nichols, who lays in a hook shot. Nichols with 4, and it's an 8-5 Avon lead. Nearly halfway through this first quarter here on the Cascade Senior Day. Now Hannah with the ball again. Guarded by Francis. Over to Olivia. Guarded by Shelton. Now nearly knocked away from Olivia, but she maintains control. Drives, pitches over to Hannah, fakes the 3. Then a nice behind-the-back dribble, drives. Then pitches back. No, but they got her for a double dribble. 3:51 to go here in the first quarter. Avon 8, Cascade 5. Cascade with 1 regular season game left after today, Thursday at Speedway. And then they return home for the sectional next week, starting a week from tonight against North Putnam. More about the sectional draw later. So now, Dishman over to Shelton, fakes the 3. Back over to Dishman at the top of the key, guarded by Olivia. Over to Francis now. Now across, inside to Richard. Puts it up off the glass. No good. Rebound there by I believe that's Sophia. Now over to Olivia, over to Hannah. Now over to Emilia. And now she tries to hit Trinity, but miscommunication, and it goes out of bounds to Avon with 3:08 to go here in the first quarter. Well, Cascade's energy level is much higher than it was in the Friday and Saturday losses to South Putnam and Plainfield respectively, but they're just a little bit, if anything, just a little bit overzealous tonight. They've been a little bit sloppy. So now Angel Gino into the game for Plainfield. Now Nichols has the ball, but it's stolen. However, by Sophia Bryant up to Olivia Bryant. Takes it down herself, puts up a 3. She hit it. Olivia for 3, and we're tied at 8. Olivia and Hannah each with a 3. Each has struggled with her shot lately, especially Hannah. But maybe each will have a breakout game tonight. Now a wide open 3 there is good. Olivia does it again. So 6 quick points by Olivia. She had 34 in the and now a near steal there by Trinity, but Angel Gino remains retains possession. Now Olivia with the ball, pitches down court to I believe that's Hannah, over to Emilia. She takes it down, and we got a foul there. I think she was fouled by Rasheed with 2:01 to go. So Avon with its first lead now. Olivia had 34 in the double overtime win at Cloverdale, but then was she after taking that whole game on her shoulders practically, it really showed the next 2 days as she only had 8 and 6 respectively over the next 2 games. So now a turnaround jumper is good there. I believe that's Catie. Catie hasn't played much this season, but on her senior day she does score. So all of a sudden, it's an 8-0 Cascade run there. Now beautiful move by Rasheed. Takes it all the way in. No good, however. Put up. No good there by Francis. And the rebound is tipped to, and now controlled by Cascade. And we got a foolish foul there by Rasheed. So that's already 2 on Rasheed. That'd be great if we could get her in foul trouble. Well, that was a freshman mistake there by Rasheed. Now Rasnake into the lineup for Olivia, who sits down probably for the rest of the quarter. Eight nothing run by Cascade. Hannah bringing it up for Cascade. Over to Catie. Now back to Hannah for 3. In and out. And Hailey Nicholas chases down the rebound. Now over to Rasheed, drives the way in, and she's fouled in the act of shooting. So Rasheed will go to the line for 2. Bold move to keep Rasheed here in the game here in the first quarter with 2 fouls. Foul will be on Emilia Bryant, her first, team second. It's good. Rasheed with her first points. That breaks a Cascade an 8-0 run by Cascade. She hit them both. 13-10 now. Cascade leads here on Senior Day. Now a double team on Hannah. She gets the ball all the way to Emilia. Back to Hannah now. Fakes a 3. Now dribbles. Patches over now. And now another near steal attempt. They give it to Emilia. Takes it in. No good. Gets her own rebound. And we got a foul there on the rebound. I think they're going to get Nichols for it. That is going to be on Nichols. That's her first. So Nichols with 1, Rasheed with 2. You know, one thing that if we get Avon's big 3 in foul trouble, that will, certainly go a long way toward helping us pull this one out. 3-pointer there now is good. That was Sophia Bryant. She started off in the starting lineup, averaged less than 2 points a game, and then lost her starting job to Taylor Norris, but she does get a 3 here on Senior Day. So all the Bryant triplets have scored on Senior Day already here in the first quarter. In fact, each of them has scored at least 1 3-pointer. So it's a 16-10 game now. Cascade off to a great start. Now over to Olivia at the right perimeter. Guarded by Shelton. Behind the back. Now drive to the basket, and now it's stripped away, however. Struggle for the loose ball, and now pitch down court to Rasheed. She's got an easy lay-in. She hit it, and that's the end of the quarter. So, headed to the second quarter here on Cascade Senior Day. Your score, Cascade 16, Avon 12. We'll be back with these words from our sponsors on audiosportsonline.com. The Cascade High School Athletic Department simply would not be able to operate without the financial support of our business partners. We would like to recognize and thank them for their generosity. The official health provider to the cadets, Hendricks Regional Health. Diamond partner, Bestway Drywall and North Salem State Bank. Platinum partner, Allen Irrigation Company, CJ's Pizza, and Dunn Insurance Agency. Gold partner, Endeavor Communications. Silver partner, Electric Plus. And bronze partner, Hankey Photography and DMH Photographics. Thank you, business partners. Your support of the student-athletes of Cascade High School is greatly appreciated. Well, back here at Clayton, we're about to start the second quarter here on Senior Day with Cascade leading Avon 16-12. It's a game in which Avon led 6-2 and 8-5 before. Cascade went on an 8-0 run and have led ever since. It's been a balanced attack, and in which the Lady Cadets as a team have hit 4 3-point shots so far, 2 by Olivia Bryant and one by each of her triplet sisters, Emilia and Sophia. Hannah No, I'm sorry. I apologize. Emilia hit it, too. It was Hannah who hit the other three. My apologies there. Nevertheless, all three Bryant triplets have scored tonight. So Catie Cleveland with the ball now over to Hannah Rasnake. Now down to the baseline to Emilia. Turns around. Jump shot. No good. And fight over the rebound. Richard comes up with it, gives it down to Rasheed. Drives to the basket, now pulls it back up. Now over to Richard. Now at the free throw line, pitches back out to Dishman for three, and she hits it. So Kelsey Dishman with a game-high 7. And now all of a sudden Avon cuts it to 1. They've scored the last 5 points in a row. So Catie with the ball now. And then she travels. So now Rasheed into Shelton. 7:08 to go here in the second quarter. Now over to Dishman, back to Rasheed. Inside to Nichols. Now over to Richard for a baseline jumper, no good. Catie, the rebound over to Olivia, who brings it up. Now pass over to Hannah for three, no good. And goes out of bounds to Avon. So the Orioles with the ball and a chance to take the lead here with 6:45 to go here in the second quarter, trailing 16-15. Cascades come out all fired up. Their shooting has been mostly off lately. They did hit 4 3-pointers in the first quarter. Now the ball knocked. They were trying to feed Nichols down low. Ball was knocked out of bounds to Cascade. To Avon. Now inside to Nichols at the free throw line. Pitches out to Rasheed for three. No good. And rebound by Richard. And now out to Dishman, who gives it to Shelton near the midcourt line with 6:23 to go. Now passes across court to Rasheed. Now to Dishman, back across court to Rasheed. Inside to Nichols. Now back out to Dishman for three, and she hits it. Kelsey Dishman with 2 consecutive three-point shots. And Avon goes back in the lead, this time by 2, 18-16. 10 points, a game high by Kelsey Dishman. She is a 5'9" senior. So an Avon senior trying to ruin Cascade senior day. Well, I'm looking for I believe that the Baseball Hall of Fame voting is today. I'm waiting to see the results. It's one of my favorite days of the year. You know, the day of the Baseball Hall of Fame voting. One thing I love about it is that, you know, it's so clear that you see who got what vote, as opposed to, you know, the basketball and football Halls of Fame where, you know, I don't really understand how it works. I also don't understand why it took Marvin Harrison 3 years to get into the Hall of Fame, you know. So now Hannah Rasnake going to the free throw line. That foul was on Brooke Shelton. That's her second. Already 6 fouls against Avon, only 2 against Cascade. So Hannah on the first free throw is good. If she hits this one, we will be tied. Now mass substitutions for Avon. I'm not sure they have any starters in right. I think Rasheed is the only starter in right now. So Hannah hits them both. We're tied at 18. So now Francis with the ball, drives down to the baseline and puts it up. No good. And now it's rebounded, and now Francis back in the corner. Thinks about a three. Pitches over to Angel Gino. Gino drives inside the free throw lane, and the 3-point drives past the 3-point lane. Puts up a jump shot. No good. Sorry to screw up that call so badly. So now Gino pitches over. 3-pointer from the corner. No good there by Brooklyn Cardwell. Cascade comes away with the rebound. Now Emilia with the ball for three. She hit it. No, that was Olivia, excuse me. So Olivia with 9 points on her senior day, all on threes. So now at the other end, near steal now, Angel Gino. Gino gets it, pitches over. The three-pointer is good there by Francis. We're tied at 21. Barn burner of a game so far, nearly a quarter and a half in. So Olivia with the ball now. Cross court to Hannah. Behind the back dribble. And they got Gino for a reach in. By the way, Gino, her last name is Gino-Gino. She's a 5'4" senior for the Lady Orioles. So Hannah hits her first free throw. The foul was on Gino. So Hannah with 6 already. That's good. Against Plainfield, Olivia had 6. Hannah had 0. The two had been combining for 31 points a game on the season. So Hannah already 7 points on her senior day, having far surpassed her total against Plainfield. It's good to see her and Olivia getting on track today. Certainly the 3 days rest did a lot of good. And now a pass off the hands of Molly Watson goes out of bounds. Cascade ball. And now Gino tipped it out of bounds. Once again to Cascade, 4:24 to go. It's a 23-21 Cascade lead. We're coming at you live. Oh, and now Olivia got hacked. So that's Gino now with 2 quick fouls. And now Cascade is in the bonus with 4:24 to play here in the second quarter. So if Cascade, hits their free throws, tonight consistently, then that's going to go a long way toward giving them this win. And Hannah is good on her first. She has 8. Maybe this will be the game where she finally gets fully on track. She hit them both. So Hannah with a team high tying 9. She and Olivia both have 9. So they've combined for 18. A big improvement from the 6 they combined for on Saturday. And now blown coverage, and Gino drove all the way in for the shot, cutting it to 2, 25-23. And now a near steal there, but Cascade maintains control. Emilia knocked away, but she now gets it over to Olivia. Now over to Trinity Hostetler. Now Emilia puts it up, and she hits it. Emilia with 4. Cascade goes back up by 4. And now a near steal there by Olivia. And I think they're going to get her for the foul. Olivia just tried to go for the exclamation point there, but they got to keep her out of foul trouble. That's her second. Now Catie Cleveland coming back in for Cascade, and Trinity Hostetler sitting down. So now number 2 into the game for Avon. Her number is not on the roster. And now a three-pointer, no good. Rebound, I believe that was by Emilia. Okay, India Kendrick is number 2 for, I had to look at Max Preps. So now Cascade with the ball, trailing by 4. Alex Richard with the ball. Now over to Rasheed at the left perimeter. Now back to Richard at the free throw line. Fakes a shot, drives in, and now turns around, puts it up. No good, gets her own rebound. Pitches out to Dishman. Now over to Rasheed, who drives into the lane. Pitches out to Richard, who now pitches out for bank shot. That's good there by Freeman. Cutting the lead to 2. Cascade 27, Avon 25. Cascade trying to get a big senior day win. Catie Cleveland out the top of the key, fakes a 3. Gives it over to Hannah Rasnake. Drives into the lane, puts it up at the glass, blocked. However, Dishman gets the rebound, brings it up herself, pitches down to Rasheed. Now guarded by Olivia. Inside finds a wide open Freeman who lays it in. And we're tied at 27, so blown coverage there by Cascade. And Avon ties it there. Olivia brings it up now. Now pitches out to Emilia for 3. No good. And Dishman beats Catie to the rebound. So now Avon will go ahead if they score here. And now, however, they got... I believe that was a palming violation there against Avon. So now Catie Cleveland sitting down for Catie and Emilia sitting down for Cascade. Hostetler and Carly Gibbs back in. Carly Gibbs has had a few good games off the bench. And, she's certainly almost certain to be a full-time starter next season with the graduation of these 7 seniors. And now Olivia takes it in herself. No good. And she's slow to get back up now. So now they've got Richard over to, and now, but she travels. She pitched it over to Freeman, who traveled. So lucky break for Cascade. Because they were, Olivia and another player were short in... We're slow in getting down court after Olivia had fallen down there going for that layup. So 27-27, 1:24 to go here in the first half. Olivia with the ball at the top of the key, now guarded by, and now they got to reach in there on Kendrick. So Olivia will be going to the line. She's had a lot of mixed success there this year. She's hit some very big free throws, but also had some critical misses as well. She's a 66% free throw shooter on the season. First free throw. No good. So a rebound by Dishman. She gives it up to Rasheed. Now over to Dishman. Now inside. Now it's stolen, however. No, but the outlet pass is stolen and converted to an easy layup there by Rasheed, who has 6. So Olivia now she finds a player open down court, but it's tipped out of bounds by Hailey Nicholas. Great save there. So now Emilia coming in for Olivia. 49.1 seconds to go. Avon has scored 6 in a row to take a lead here. Brooke Shelton now coming in for Kelsey Dishman for Avon. And now Trinity with the ball over to Gibbs for 3. She hit it! She hit it! So Carly Gibbs with her first first points of the game, and we go back up by 1, and Nichols takes it down and draws the foul. No, she traveled. She traveled. So Cascade with the ball and the lead. 30-29 with 33 seconds to go here in the second quarter, excuse me. Second quarter, first half. So Emilia with the ball now, double teamed, and they got her for a double dribble. So Avon will have the chance to take the lead before they go into the locker room. They have the ball trailing by 28.5 seconds to go here in the second quarter. And now I didn't see what the foul was. I guess so a player stepped on the line. There's no foul. I don't have a clear view of the of that official who made the call from my vantage point. So now Hannah with the ball. and takes it all the way down herself, finds a hole, but she pitches back out to Trinity for 3. No good. However, it's put up and in. That was Emilia. She has 6. So a 3-point Cascade lead, 10 seconds left. Brooke Shelton with the ball now drives the lane, pitches down to a driving Rasheed. Hook shot, no good. And Cascade rebound. And Hannah with 1 second left, and she gets a shot off. Oh, almost banked it in from half court. Nevertheless, Cascade overall a very good first half. On Senior Day, they lead Avon 32-29. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors here on AudioSportsOnline.com. The Cascade High School Athletic Department simply would not be able to operate without the financial support of our business partners. We would like to recognize and thank them for their generosity. The official health provider to the cadets, Hendricks Regional Health, Diamond Partners, Bestway Drywall, and North Salem State Bank, Platinum Partners, Allen Irrigation Company, CJ's Pizza, and Dunn Insurance Agency, Gold Partner Endeavor Communications, Silver Partner Electric Plus, and Bronze Partner Hankey Photography and DMH Photographics. Thank you, business partners. Your support of the student athletes of Cascade High School is greatly appreciated. Well, back here at Clayton, we're at halftime of this very special Senior Day broadcast with your Cascade Lady Cadets leading the Class 4A Avon Lady Orioles by a score of 32-29. It's been a wild and woolly game throughout. Neither team ever had more than a 6-point lead. Several lead changes already. And, after the frustration that I felt watching Cascade on Friday and Saturday when they clearly were nowhere close to a 100% in energy, they were very painful games to commentate, and listening to my broadcasts, my commentary these last 2 days of those games, it was sort of depressing because you could tell that I was zapped of energy as well, not only because I put so much so much screaming into the Cloverdale game, but also because I just was absorbing all the lack of energy of those 2 games. And even so, they were only single-digit losses, 8 to South Putnam and 6 to Plainfield, who's a 4A team, and who's nearly in the top 20. So, but anyway, though, so Cascade, they've come out fired up, not only on 3 days rest, but also because it is Senior Day, and they have played with a lot of energy. At a few times they've gotten a little overzealous and a little sloppy, but for the most part they've played very well. Their shooting has been about as good as it's been all season, and they've overall just come out with a good game plan. They've really kept Cascade's they've really kept Avon's big 3 under control. And it's been, I would say, a B-plus performance so far by Cascade. So if they keep that up, as better yet, and make it an A performance in the second half, I do think they're going to get out of here with a victory today. And if you're going to beat Avon, you're going to do it now, because I don't think we're going to have much chance to beat Avon over the next 2 years. We play them. They were one of our regularly scheduled regular season opponents, and then in addition, there's also a chance for us to play them twice every year because they're in the Hendricks County basketball tournament along with us. So we have 4 potential games against Avon over the next 2 years, and however many we play, we are probably going to lose them all, especially next year when it's going to be very much a rebuilding year. I'm not saying it can't be done, but it's unlikely, and I'm saying Avon is going to be probably a top 10 team in Class 4A in a couple of years, and with Nichols, Richard, and Rasheed all going on to play for NCAA Division I colleges. But anyway, let's look at the individual scoring. First of all, for Cascade, it's Senior Day, and appropriately, it's mainly been the seniors who've produced today. Olivia Bryant has 9, Hannah Rasnake has 9, Emilia Bryant has 6, Sophia Bryant has 3, Carly Gibbs has 3, and Catie Cleveland has 2. Meanwhile, for Avon, Kelsey Dishman has 10. Zakia Rasheed has 6. Hailey Nicholas has 4. Amani Freeman has 3. Amani Freeman has 4. Brianni Francis Brianna Francis has 3, and Angel Gino has 2. So, anyway, this is a game in which so far Avon's Big Three has only produced 10 points. And in fact, Alex Richard has produced 0. And not only that, but Avon has, really done a good job attacking the boards and keeping Richard and Nichols from having a field day. And if they keep that up in the second half, that's going to, really play into our favor. So, anyway, I'll be talking more about the sectional matchup after the game when I got a little more time to do it. There's 4:29 on the halftime clock right now. But in short, right now it looks like Cascade, it's really going to be a 3-team toss-up to win that sectional, with Cascade, Cloverdale, and South Putnam, with Western Boone a dark horse, and then with Monrovia and especially North Putnam being major long shots. I watched the selection show on Sunday with a lot of interest. It was, as was the football pairing show, broadcast live on the internet on ihsaatv.com, and they have great coverage there. And I wish Cascade had gotten the bye, but they do have the good thing about Cascade's draw is that of the other 3 teams in the sectional that I think have a realistic shot to win it, we will only have to play one of them, and that would not be until the championship game. We start off playing the weakest team in the tournament by far, North Putnam, and then if we win that game, in the extremely probable event that we win that game, we will play Monrovia, which is not quite as certain, but certainly a very winnable game, Monrovia is a team that we beat by 16 during the regular season, and I needn't be reminded that last year we lost in the sectional to a team that we beat by 22 during the regular season. But I'm not afraid of overconfidence this time. I think our girls learned our lesson from that. I think they learned they've got to, bring their A game every night. And Monrovia, we beat 54-38, and they are 9-12, and they last season they were 9-14. So they're the school that really they've been good in recent years. They won the sectionals in 2014 and 2016, but now are in rebuilding mode. So certainly, I'm not going to get ahead of myself as I did last season and virtually guarantee a sectional championship and, then have that, devastating loss. But I will say we've got a shot this year if we come to play every night and if we play for all 32 minutes. My favorite players, a lot of them, in all sports, they're generally not the big superstar players. I mean, I love to watch Michael Jordan play. He was one guy. Whenever he was on TV, I would stop everything to watch him. And there have been a few guys like that. Barry Sanders was another one. Of course, it says something, the fact that he played for the Detroit Lions, and yet he still got me to watch him. Because the Lions games for the most part have been not worth seeing much. Over the last 60 years since they had their glory days in the 50s. But my favorite players are those who really play every game like it's for the World Championship. Allen Iverson was a guy I didn't think he seemed like a very likable guy personally, but one reason why he was one of my favorite players is that he was one guy who came to play every night, even all 82 games. And even though he could have hung on for several more years, and milked a few more $1 million, when he realized that he was past his prime, he retired, and I respect him for that. And, kind of like, in rock music, Steve Perry, he could be out milking, the classic rock tour circuit for millions of dollars. But, the story I heard about him is that he knows that he can't sing like he did in his glory days, and he doesn't, he holds himself to such a high standard, he just doesn't want to go out and charge people money to hear a second-rate version of himself, So now starting off the second half, Dishman over to Rasheed, back to Dishman, now over to Shelton. Double teamed there. And now there's a kicked ball. The ball will belong to Cascade. 7:41 to go here in the third quarter. Cascade 32, Avon 29 here on Cascade Senior Day. So now Rasheed, Shelton, Cascade in a 2-3 zone. Now over to Rasheed at the top of the key, and they find Shelton open inside. However, she misses a short bank shot, and now Olivia brings it up for Cascade. Pitches across court to Hannah, and now Hannah looked like she was thinking about a three. Now she dribbles. Now she does shoot a three. No good off the top of the rim. However, rebound to Hannah. I believe it was Catie who tipped it out to Hannah. And now Olivia, and now that they got her for a palming violation. 7:03 to go, nearly a minute gone by here in the second half, still no score. Cascade leading 32-29. Dishman to inbound for Avon inside to there. Okay, now it's Rasheed, finds Nichols wide open, and Nichols lays it in. She has 6. So now on the other side, so Trinity Hostetler gets 2. Those are her first points. She's a 2-point-a-game scorer on the season. And now ball tipped out of bounds to Avon. So Cascade does a good job answering that, answering the Nichols field goal. So 34-31, 6:34 to go. Now inside to Richard, and she travels. So Avon, so Richard for Avon making a freshman mistake there. She's got a bright future ahead of her, though, especially at already 5'11" as a freshman. I mean, if she grows, say, 6'2", 6'3", just imagine, what a huge prospect she's going to be. So now the ball knocked out of bounds to Avon. They trail by 3 with 6:31 to go here in the third quarter. And now inside to Nichols. She drives to the basket, puts it up, and she hits it. So Nichols with 8. 4 of them coming in the first couple of minutes of this half. And now inside to Trinity. She puts it up and in. So Trinity with 4 now, already above her average. The team's traded baskets to start off. And now Rasheed wide open under the basket. So blown coverage there. And Avon cuts it to 1. Rasheed with 8 on the game now. Now Emilia drives on the baseline, puts it up, and she hits it. She has 8. And by the way, all with the exception of Abby Church, and I'll hold that thought. Now on the other end, Rasheed at the baseline, then pulls it back out. Over to Brooke Shelton. 3-point Cascade lead, 5:37 to go in the third quarter. Inside to Nichols, puts it up, and she's fouled. But what I was going to say of the 7, not counting Abby Church, an injured senior who symbolically took the opening tip-off, the other 6 Lady Cadets have all scored tonight here in their last regular season home game. So now Hailey Nichols at the line for Avon. First one is good, perfect. She has 9. So now Catie and Trinity sit down. Sophia Bryant and Taylor Norris come back in for Cascade. So Hailey's second shot, no good off the front of the rim. She has 9, 5 of them in the half. And Cascade, Emilia comes up with the rebound, pitches down court to Olivia, but it's missed timing on the pass, and it goes out of bounds to Avon. Cascade leads 38-36, 5:28 to go here in the third quarter. So Shelton now with the ball. Over and now inside to Richard. Puts it up, no good. Richard still scoreless on the game. And Rasheed puts it in to tie it here. And now on the other end, no good there by Emilia trying to give Cascade the lead back. Now Avon will go ahead with any score. Nichols on the baseline pitches out to Dishman for 3. Air ball. And it's out of bounds to Cascade. Nice effort there to save it by Shelton, but it was not to be. Anyway, Zakia Rasheed with 10 now, tying Kelsey Dishman for the team lead. And it's 38-38 with 4:35 to go here in the third quarter on Cascade's Senior Day. So now Hannah takes it into the lane, puts it off the glass, and she hits it. Hannah has 11. And Cascade goes back in the lead. 4:15 to go here in the third quarter, 40-38. Now, missed timing there as Rasheed was trying to hit Dishman. Goes out of bounds to Cascade. Now Carly Gibbs coming in for Hannah Rasnake. Hannah sits down with 11. Should be playing college ball a year from now. And now near steal there, Emilia drives to the basket, and it's blocked. She fell down, but there was no call. And now down to Brooke Shelton, who gives it to Nichols, puts it up, no good. Nichols gets her own rebound, pitches it out to Richard, and now pitches out to Nichols, who then starts to drive in, then pitches back out to Kendrick, now out to Dishman for 3, no good. And Emilia pulls away the rebound, or Gibbs, excuse me, and gives it up to Emilia. And now near steal there, and Dishman does get it, and we got a collision there. We got a foul with 3:26 to go here in the third quarter. Cascade with a 2-point lead here on their Senior Day. It's going to be on Emilia Bryant. That's her second. Her second, team second. So now Gino coming in, and Dishman sitting down for Avon, and now Amani Freeman coming in, and Hailey Nicholas sitting down. So now inbound to Shelton. 3:23 to go here in the third quarter. Over to Gino. Now to Kendrick near midcourt. Back over to Gino. Back over to Kendrick. Now to Gino again. Now over to Shelton there at the left perimeter. Now to Gino at the right perimeter. Now to Kendrick, back to Gino. Inside to Freeman. Now good ball movement there over to Kendrick. Now back out to Shelton again. Shelton puts up a 3. No good. And rebounded there by Olivia. She tries to take it in herself. Pulls up. And now she's hacked on a 3. So Olivia will be going to the free throw line for three free throws. If she hits all these, it'll be a 5-point lead. 2:44 to go here in the third quarter at Clayton. So Olivia's first is up. No good off the front of the rim. The foul, by the way, on Brooke Shelton. That's her third. And that's the first. That was the first Avon. The first Cascade foul of the first Avon foul of the half. Excuse me. So now Trinity Hostetler set to check into the game for Cascade. Olivia still has 2 more free throws coming. She missed her first. Her second is good. Olivia with 10. So now Trinity coming in for Emilia. Genesis Castro into the game for Avon. And now Olivia misses the third one, so she made only 1 of 3. So it's a 3-point Cascade lead now. And now mishandled the ball, though. But Castro saves it, gives it over to Gino. Gino now inside to Richard, inside to Freeman, who lays it in, cutting the lead to 1. Freeman with 6 points now, and it's a 41-40 Cascade lead here on Senior Day. Olivia with the ball now to Trinity at the left perimeter now, over to Carly Gibbs. Now over to Olivia, now to Carly Gibbs at the left perimeter, and now out to Trinity Hostetler, and out to Olivia now. And now nearly is knocked away by Freeman, but Cascade maintains control. Now Gibbs drives in and she scores. So Gibbs with 5, and that pushes the lead back up to 3 with 1:50 to go here in the third quarter. Now at the other end, beautiful penetrating move by Gino. Gino, she hits it. So it's 43-42 now. Teams have largely traded baskets here in the third quarter. Olivia now over to Sophia Bryant, and we got a foul there. I think they're going to get Gino for a reach in there. That's only the second Avon foul here in the second half, coming with 1:35 to go here in the third quarter. Now more substitutions. So now Emilia Bryant, Hannah Rasnake, and Catie Cleveland all coming back into the game. Carly Gibbs, Trinity Hostetler, and Sophia Bryant all sitting down. Inside to Olivia Bryant, 1:33 to go here in the third quarter. Cascade with a 1-point lead, trying to give, and now a 3-pointer there by Catie, no good. She's hit a few of those this year, but that one just barely grazed the front of the rim. So now Avon will take the lead with any field goal. 1:17 to go here in the third quarter. Now inside to Freeman, back out to now to Castro, over to Kendrick, inside to Freeman, and now she's fouled. I believe. No, she traveled. She traveled. So good break for Cascade. They have the ball and a 1-point lead with 1:03 to go here in the third quarter. And now Hailey Nicholas coming back in. Coming back in for Gino. So Olivia now with the ball. Hannah now guarded closely by Francis. Now Olivia with the ball at the left perimeter, over to Catie Cleveland. Now over to Emilia Bryant. Under a minute to go now. Under 40 seconds to go. Now near steal there, but Catie saves it. 34 seconds to go. Now nearly tipped away by Freeman there. Now over to Hannah. Now beautiful move. She puts it up. It's blocked, however, and Hailey Nicholas comes away with it. Gives it up to Castro, who brings it past midcourt. Under 20 seconds to go now in the third quarter. Now cross court to, and now fakes, drives inside, and Kendrick banks it in. And so Avon goes up by 1 point. 6 seconds to go in the quarter. Now Olivia looks like she's not sure what she wants to do. She gets it across midcourt, but she doesn't. Now she finally gets it off. I think Olivia was, they were double teaming her, but she looked like she might have been a little confused about how much time was left, or the overall game situation. Nevertheless, 8 minutes to go for Cascade to pull out the Senior Day win. They trail 44-43 to Avon. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors on audiosportsonline.com. The Cascade High School Athletic Department simply would not be able to operate without the financial support of our business partners. We would like to recognize and thank them for their generosity. The official health provider to the cadets, Hendricks Regional Health. Diamond Partners, Bestway Drywall and North Salem State Bank. Platinum Partners, Allen Irrigation Company, CJ's Pizza, and Dunn Insurance Agency. Gold Partner, Endeavor Communications. Silver Partner, Electric Plus. And Bronze Partner, Hankey Photography and DMH Photographics. Thank you, business partners. Your support of the student athletes of Cascade High School is greatly appreciated. Well, back here at Clayton, we got a barn burner of a fourth quarter coming at you now here on Cascade Senior Day as the Lady Cadets trail the visiting Avon Lady Orioles by a score of 45-44. Cascade led, I believe, the entire third quarter until a short bank shot by India Kendrick in the final seconds gave Avon the lead. So now Cascade starts off the fourth quarter with the ball. This is the last regular season home quarter for these 7 seniors. So now Catie over to Hannah. Inside to I believe that was Carly, put it up, no good. Hailey comes away with the rebound, gives it up to Rasheed. 7:37 to go here in the fourth quarter. Brooke Shelton handling the ball, Cascade in a 2-3 zone. Now Rasheed thinking about a long three. Doesn't do it. Dribbles. Pitches across court to Shelton. Back to Rasheed. Now she dribbles toward the top of the key. But it's a miscommunication and it goes out of bounds. She was trying to hit Shelton, who was running the other way. It goes out of bounds to Cascade. 7:20 to go. Cascade down by 1. So now Catie and Hannah sitting down. Sophia Bryant and Trinity coming back into the game. Now inside to Olivia. Now Emilia with the ball, drives into the lane, puts it up. No good. And Hailey comes away with the rebound, gives it up to Shelton. So Avon with the ball, a 1-point lead, 7:02 to go here in the fourth quarter. Now Richard with the ball, drives to the basket. She puts it in, and she finally gets her first points. So it's a 3-point Avon lead now, 6:48 to go. Richard, one of the 3 core pieces who Avon's building a top 10 program around, but she was shut out until that last shot. So now Emilia with the ball, now over to Carly Gibbs, drives into the lane, puts it up, she draws the foul. So she'll be going to the line for 2. That's going to be on Shelton. That's her 4th. That'd be great if we could get her out of there. I'm sorry, Taylor Norris. Excuse me, Taylor Norris, not Carly Gibbs. I apologize there. First one, good. So Taylor Norris with her first points. She and Carly Gibbs are the only 2 non-seniors who have scored tonight for Cascade. They definitely are the 2 pieces who the program will be building around next year after these seniors graduate. So now inside to Nichols now. And now I think it's going to count as a 2, but nevertheless it's no good. And now a fight over the rebound and jump ball position arrow favors Avon. So the Lady Orioles get the ball with a 1-point lead, 6:08 to go. So Brooke Shelton coming in for Avon, and Kendrick sitting down with 2 points. So now Rasheed with the ball near midcourt to Shelton. Now Rasheed now. Now cross court net to Dishman. Thinks about a 3. Pitches back out to Rasheed, however. Now over to Shelton. 5:36 to go. Now back over to Dishman. Dishman had a very hot start to the game, and hasn't done a lot since. Shelton with the ball now. Takes it back toward midcourt. 5:17 to go. Avon looks like they're content to milk a lot of the clock, leading by 1 point. Avon running a big chunk of the clock now. 5 minutes even to go. No shot clock here in high school basketball. Hopefully there will be one of these days. So far, Cascade not putting any pressure on the Avon ball handlers. Rasheed now with the ball. Now it looks like she wants to do something. 4:30 to go now. Now back to Rasheed. Not sure how long Cascade's going to let them do this. And now we're starting to get booing from the crowd. I've very rarely ever heard any booing in my 6 years of high school commentary, commentating well over 100 games. And now under 4 minutes now. So Avon's run off well over a minute off of the clock. And now finally a foul there. And I believe it was Norris who committed it against Shelton. It's a non-shooting foul. And now we've got a timeout here with 3:49 to go. So Avon leading 46-45 over Cascade here on the Cascade Senior Day. And it's Cascade who takes the timeout, a full timeout. And I'll tell you, even though it's very likely that we will win our regular season finale on Thursday at Speedway, we do not want to go into the playoffs with our only win in the last 4 games being against Speedway. The Cloverdale win evened our record at 500 for the first time this year at 9-9. That was followed by 2 tough but understandable losses the next 2 days against South Putnam and Plainfield, in which we clearly were not playing at 100% because of fatigue. And so if we win today, and then if we win at Thursday on Speedway, we're probably going to beat Speedway. But if we beat Avon and Speedway tonight, that would end our season or our regular season at 11-11. And certainly, I just think it would feel a lot better to go into the playoffs with your record again at 500, rather than to go in not only at 10-12, but again with Speedway being the only team you beat in your last 4 regular season games. So hopefully, we will pull this one out. If not, it's not an embarrassment. Avon, a very good Class 4A team, and I don't think there are very many Class 2A teams who would beat Avon. I think if Avon played all 100 or so Class 2A teams in the state, Avon would probably win over 90 of the games. So now inside to Nichols, posts up on Trinity, now pitches back out to Kelsey Dishman, fakes the 3, then pitches back out to Brooks Shelton, 3:28 to go, and now looks like maybe they want to milk a lot more of the clock here. So now over to Rasheed. Now to Nichols behind the 3-point line. Now inside to Richard, who lays it in. So Richard shut out until the 4th quarter. Now she has 4, and Avon goes up by 4. 3:06 to go. By 3, excuse me. So it's still a 1-possession game. And now ball knocked out of bounds to Cascade. Now Hannah Rasnake coming back in. Sophia Bryant sitting down. So Avon very well could be thinking 3 here with Hannah back in the game. So now pitches into Olivia in the backcourt. Under 3 minutes to go now. Last regular season home game for these 7 young ladies, these seniors. Olivia, the left perimeter, guarded by Rasheed. 3-pointer by Olivia. Air ball. Out of bounds to Avon. So now Brooks Shelton coming back in for Avon. And Kendrick sitting down. So now Shelton with the ball. And a sloppy pass. I think it was kicked. But it will be Avon's ball. Shelton to inbound with 2:29 to go. Avon with the ball and a 3-point lead. Cascade's led for the majority of the game. Avon finally took the lead late in the fourth quarter. Now inside to Nichols. She lays it in. She has a team high and a game high tying 11. And all of a sudden it's a 5-point lead. 2:07 to go. Three-pointer there is good by Hannah. Now Hannah has a game high 14. And it's a Cascade still alive, trailing by 2 with 2:05 to go. Cascade takes a 30-second timeout. And, again, it will not be a disaster if Cascade loses, but certainly, after you work so hard, overcoming the 0-6 start, winning 9 out of 12, evening your record at 500 for the first time all year, you don't want to follow that up with 3 losses in a row either, especially with the third of the losses being on your senior day. So now inbounds to Shelton, who brings it up. 2 minutes remaining. Now over to Rasheed. Cascade putting some good defensive pressure on now. Now Rasheed double teamed, and now she gets it away. And however they find Shelton wide open across the court. So now Shelton, 1:43 to go, and now over to Rasheed, and now going for and now it looks like. It was Norris who fouled Rasheed there. That's only the 4th foul against Cascade in this half. There have only been 3 against Avon this half. That's Taylor's 2nd, by the way. Taylor Norris, the sophomore who started the last several games. Though not tonight, in which only seniors started. Now inside to Hailey. She loses the woman guarding her and lays it in easily. She has 13 now. So now Cascade got to hurry. And now Taylor went for she went to the basket, and it was blocked. No foul called. I couldn't tell if there was contact made or not, but it's a multi-possession deficit. And now nice steal attempt there, and Taylor commits another foul with 1:09 to go. However, 2 more fouls have to be committed before Avon will shoot free throws, though. So now Shelton, Avon with a 4-point lead. Shelton inbounds to Dishman. And now we got a foul against Avon, so good break for Cascade. It's going to be on Dishman. I didn't catch what she did, but nevertheless, good break for Cascade. 59.4 seconds to go now. Cascade needs 2 scores. So now, Hannah with the ball. Inside, puts it up. No good. Hailey Nicholas the rebound, and she gives it up to Rasheed. So Cascade's going to have to hurry and get a stop here. Under 40 seconds now. And Dishman with the ball now down to Nichols. They're going to have to foul. And now they finally do. But they wasted at least 7 seconds or so. So Shelton and Richard into the game for Avon now. 29.3 seconds to go now. This one's slipping away from Cascade. And now they're going to have to foul quickly, and they do. And finally, so Avon will go to the free throw line. That one is going to be on Emilia Bryant. That's her 3rd. So Cascade will go to the line with a 4-point lead. 25.6 seconds to go here in the fourth quarter. It will be Brooke Shelton, who surprisingly has not scored today. 8 Lady Orioles have scored. Shelton is not one of them. She's a very promising young point guard for this team, though. Her first free throw is up and no good. So Trinity the rebound. Now Cascade's got to hurry. They need 2 scores. So now Taylor takes it to the basket, puts it up. No good. Trinity the rebound. Fight over it, and it's a jump ball. Possession arrow favors Cascade. 13 seconds to go. They need 2 quick scores. Now Shelton sitting down. Kendrick's coming back in for Avon. So the Lady Cadets have to hurry. Let's see if there are any final seconds heroics here on Senior Day. Now inside to Olivia. She puts up a 3, and she's hacked. Oh, and she's hit hard. So Olivia will be going to the line for 3 with 8.9 seconds to go. She's got to hit all 3. Unless, she wants to make 2 and then miss the third one, and then we get an offensive rebound and put it back up and in and tie it. Or better yet, get hacked, make it end, make the shot and convert the 3-point play to take the lead. So Olivia, come on, hit all 3. This is your Senior Day. Make it count. No good. No good. Well, it'll at least be cut to 2 if she hits these last 2. Oh, she missed the second one. Olivia started off red hot. She scored 3. She scored 9 points, all on 3-point field goals, I believe, in the first half, but it's been quiet ever since. Let's see if she at least salvages this last one to make it a one-possession game. She does. She has 11. And now we got a timeout with 8.9 seconds to go. So now we have to get the ball back without Avon scoring any points and then hit a 3-point field goal. Well, we'll see what happens here, but certainly it is a disappointing turn of events. And again, at the start of this game, if I knew at this point that we were going to be trailing Avon, a very good Class 4A team, by 3 points, I would just say we were playing a pretty good game. It's just when you lose, it's just that when you have the lead for probably 60% of the game and then you lose it late, it's disappointing. But certainly, even if we lose today, we can make up for it by winning 3 games next week and getting the sectional championship here on our home floor. That would be a nice reverse of last year when we won on Senior Day and then had a very painful sectional loss here at home. So now inside to Hailey, and they're going to have to foul quickly. Pitches down court to Shelton. She's fouled with 5.6 seconds to go. So if Shelton hits this free throw, it's virtually over. If she misses, we can tie with a 3. Shelton, she hit it. Scoring her first point of the game at the perfect time. If she, regardless of, we'll have to come down and get a 3 within about 3 seconds or so, and then get a quick timeout and steal, but no good. So 4 seconds now. And this bad pass. So Hannah with the 3, no good, and that's the game. So Cascade leads over half of the game, but they fall short on Senior Day against the Class 4A Avon Lady Orioles. The final score here tonight at Clayton: Avon 53, Cascade 49. Avon 53, Cascade 49. We'll be back with a recap and a sectional preview after these words from our sponsors. The Cascade High School Athletic Department simply would not be able to operate without the financial support of our business partners. We would like to recognize and thank them for their generosity. The official health provider to the Cadets: Hendricks Regional Health, Diamond Partners, Bestway Drywall, and North Salem State Bank. Platinum Partners, Allen Irrigation Company, CJ's Pizza, and Dunn Insurance Agency. Gold Partner, Endeavor Communications. Silver Partner, Electric Plus. And Bronze Partner, Hankey Photography and DMH Photographics. Thank you, business partners. Your support of the student-athletes of Cascade High School is greatly appreciated. Well, back here at Clayton for a final time tonight, where your Cascade Lady Cadets have lost their Senior Day game to the Class 4A Avon Lady Orioles by a score of 53-49. It's a game that was neck and neck most of the way, with both teams playing about a B plus or B range in execution, and with Cascade, having the hot hand on shooting early on, but the shooting just, as it's done so many times here in the last few games, it just turned cold. And while the effort was there, the energy was certainly there after the, fatigue played games against South Putnam on Friday and Plainfield on Saturday, but they were just playing against a better team tonight. They did a good job containing Avon's dynamic inside duo of Hailey Nicholas and Alex Richard about as well as could be reasonably expected. We've got a couple of girls in Trinity Hostetler and Emilia Bryant who are close in size to Nicholas and Richard, but they just don't have the raw talent. And I think that made the difference tonight. And, there were only a few bad turnovers on the part of Cascade. It would have been easy to schedule a cupcake for senior day, but, we showed a lot of heart and character, and determination in scheduling a very good Class 4A team and above average Class 4A team. Avon, now granted, they've come off several bad years, so in fact 9 consecutive losing seasons, but this win guarantees them their first winning season in a decade. And they're going to be better over the next 2 years, a year from now, and especially 2 years from now, a lot like the Cascade football team. And so, I think the disappointment in this game is not only losing the lead after we had it for I would say 60% of the game. We led 16-12 at the end of one. After Avon had an 8-5 lead, then we ran off 8 consecutive points, led throughout the second quarter, and then all throughout the third quarter until India Kendrick, a freshman for Avon, hit a short running shot, and then Avon led the rest of the way, and Cascade threatened to get back in it, but just had a hard time, with their shooting, and then, epitomized by Olivia missing 2 of her 3 free throws there when she was fouled on that 3-point attempt late in the game when we could have cut the lead to 1. And then, and had that been the case, then we would have been able to set up a game-winning or tying shot, in the final seconds there after the foul. And it, again, after the lights-out shooting start between Olivia and Hannah, the two were largely shut out for the rest of the game. And meanwhile, after Alex Richard, Avon's dominating 5'11" center / power forward was shut out for most of the game. She finally emerged late, and Hailey Nicholas also did a lot better in the second half than she did in the first after they were largely neutralized early on. So anyway, look at the individual scoring. First of all, for Cascade, Hannah Rasnake scored 14, Olivia Bryant 11, Emilia Bryant 8, Carly Gibbs 5, Trinity Hostetler 4, Sophia Bryant 3, Catie Cleveland 2, and Taylor Norris 2. Meanwhile, for Avon, Hailey Nicholas led the way with the 13, Zakia Rasheed with 10, Kelsey Dishman with 10, Amani Freeman with 6, Alex Richard with 4, Angel Gino with 4, Brianna Francis with 3, India Kendrick with 2, and Brooke Shelton with 1. Ironically, that one being the free throw that virtually clinched it, giving Avon a 4-point lead, 2-possession lead with 5.6 seconds left in the game. So in closing, Avon's 9 Avon players scored, 8 Cascade players scored. It's always disappointing to get a loss on senior day, but it was a good effort. They didn't quite bring their A game, but I'd say maybe their B plus game. And unfortunately, and they played well enough that they would beat probably all but 3 or 4 teams on their schedule tonight, probably everybody but Martinsville, Danville, Really, I think they would have beaten everybody on their schedule, like tonight, except for, Avon, Plainfield, Danville, and Martinsville. So that's, 3 of them being 4A teams, and then Danville being a ranked 3A team, and very possibly state championship contender in their class this year. So anyway, disappointingly also, it drops Cascade. This is a 3-game losing streak now. Granted, the first 2, losses in the losing streak come with a big fat asterisks that they had to, because of that schedule quirk that I mentioned earlier, have to play on 3 consecutive days. Most teams are going to fare badly in that case. Cascade was no exception. So anyway, but now, nevertheless, there's still some, happiness on the court. You see Cascade, still having some, the Cascade seniors having some nice memories on the court with their families, some hugs and posing for pictures, things like that. So certainly those young ladies have a lot to be proud of. And there's not, and their career is not done yet. They'll be back in action for the regular season finale at Speedway on Thursday night. I hope you all will get out to that one. Avon ruined, well, at least, soured our senior day. I wouldn't say ruined it. Certainly, there's still a lot of happiness there among the Cascade players. But, maybe we can do the same to Speedway on their senior day. Speedway enters the game with a record of 9-12. They are, 9-10. They are improved over last year. But the last year, I believe they only won 5 games, and they were very bad. But this year, they are better. Although they're even though they have a similar record to us, they're 9-10, we're 9-12. They've played nowhere near the schedule that we have. They've played, a lot of 1A schools. We haven't played any, and they have not played any 4A schools at all, whereas we've played 4. So. You look at who their victory, they did get a nice win over Brebeuf Jesuit, but their other wins against Cecina, Shortridge, Broad Ripple, Irvington Prep Academy, Indianapolis Metropolitan, North Putnam, Indianapolis Arlington, and Indianapolis International. So not really a lot of good quality wins there. And Speedway, they do have a promising young backcourt. They're in 5'8", Hannah Lindsay, who averages 14.2 points a game, and then in freshman point guard 5'6", Maddie Barnes, who averages 7.7 points and a team-high 3 assists a game, as well as a team-high 2.4 steals a game. But other than that, they don't have anyone else who averages 5 points. It's very much a rebuilding project. So, especially on 2 days rest, we should be fine in that one. But what I really want to talk about tonight is the sectional. Of course, these girls, like I said, even though this was the day they were honored, they will be back playing here a week from tonight in the Cascade sectional. It's a game that will... It's a game, in the first round, we did not get the first round bye that we did last year. But on the other hand, we do start off by playing against the easiest, or by far the weakest team in the weakest team of the schedule, the North Putnam Lady Cougars, who enter the game with a record of 6-14. And let's look at their schedule. That they are a team that is very much rebuilding. They've had 12 consecutive losing seasons, counting this one. And they, of their 6 wins, one of them was a forfeit over Monrovia, a game they lost on the court 44-14. And then the games that they won on the court over North Vermilion 28-26. That's a 1A team. Then over Indianapolis International 36-27, another 1A team. Then they did get a 2-point win over North Montgomery, a 3A team, 42-40. And then they beat West Vigo, a 3A team, 39-33. And so then they've lost to Riverton Park, who's a 1A team. They've lost to Indiana Deaf, who's a 1A team. And So basically, they lost to Cloverdale by 30, the Cloverdale team who we beat just last Thursday. So basically, and I could go on, but basically, in short, this is not a good team. It's a team that we should beat easily. Their leading scorer, they're only averaging 28.3 points a game on the season. Their leading scorer, Hannah Sims, looks like she's, got some potential. She's a 5'6" sophomore, averages 7.2 points a game. And then nobody else on the team even averages as much as 5 points a game. So, last year, I've long said that I believe that one thing that sunk us one thing that sunk us against South Putnam in the sectional last year is that I believe that after beating them by 22 in the regular season, we thought we could win by showing up. Well, this probably is a game that we can win by showing up, and I hope I don't give any of the girls on the team a big head by saying that, but all that to say, barring an epic collapse, we should win that game. Then that will move us ahead to play the Monrovia Bulldogs, who got a first-round bye. Well, first of all, by the way, we play the 6 o'clock game on next Tuesday, and then that will be followed later that night by Cloverdale, who we just beat last Thursday, against Western Boone, who's an interesting opponent. It's hard to know what to make of them. They entered with a record of 8-12. They were a 3A team last year. They got sent back to Class 2A this year. They've played mostly 3A teams, so they have played a fairly tough schedule. They've got some decent wins there. They even beat Lawrence Central, who's a 4A team, by 5 points. But their overall body of work is not that impressive. And against common opponents, we measure up very favorably to them. I mean, for example, we just beat Tri-West by 2 points in the Hendricks County tournament. Tri-West beat Western Boone by 13. We lost to Danville twice we lost to Danville by 13 a couple of weeks ago, and Western Boone lost to Danville by 25. So, we lost to Danville by 6 despite playing our third game despite playing our third game in 3 days. Plainfield beat Western Boone by 16. So, you get the point. This is a game. Obviously, they are a team that we are well capable of beating as long as we, play our A or B game. And anyway, so Cloverdale, Western Boone will move on to the semifinal on Friday. And then so assuming we beat North Putnam, we will play Friday at 6. So we'll play both the early game Tuesday and Friday. Friday it will be against Monrovia, who is a team that we beat 54-38 during the regular season. Now, I realize that we beat South Putnam by 22 in the regular season last year, and then they came in the regular season and at their place, and they came back and beat us, at our place in the sectional. So it's important that we not get big-headed and overconfident, and we have to understand that Monrovia is not a team that we can beat just by showing up, but they are a team that we can beat. So if we show up and play our A game, that shouldn't be too much of a problem. And so basically, you look at North Putnam's body of work. It's decent, but it's nothing great. I mean, they have not played the schedule that we have. I mean, they've played some 1A teams, and in fact, they barely beat a 1A team, Bethesda Christian. And they lost to South Putnam by 10. When we beat South Putnam when we were playing at 100%, we beat them by 3, and really only got a modest victory over Speedway, 49-36. And they did take Covenant Christian to overtime, so they have had a couple of isolated good games in there, but mainly they've had modest wins over modest opponents, and like I said, we beat them at their place 54-38. So I this is not quite as good a Cascade team as last year's was, but I am confident that they are not going to have the kind of no-show that they did against South Putnam in the first half. I'm confident that they're not going to go in overconfident and taking any wins for granted this year. I think they're going to come out, swinging. That's not to say they're definitely going to win. I think they're pretty close to definitely going to beat North Putnam. Monrovia, not quite as certain, but should get that win, as long as we play decently. And then, anyway, so then that will bring us to the championship game. But before I get onto that, on Friday night, after Cascade plays Monrovia, or North Putnam plays Monrovia in the unlikely event that North Putnam beats Cascade, then the Western Boone Cloverdale winner will play South Putnam on Friday at 5:30 for the in the semifinal round, and the winner of that game will play either Monrovia, North Putnam, or Cascade for the championship on Saturday. Hopefully Cascade, but assuming it is Cascade, we've beaten Cloverdale. Came from 18 down in doing so. We beat South Putnam when we were playing at 100%, and even then, remember, we were playing for the first time in less than 24 hours because we lost to Owen Valley that Friday night, and then we beat South Putnam that Saturday afternoon. So it's not like we were completely rested for that one, but at least we weren't playing our third game in 3 days. And then they only beat us by 8 when we were playing the day after the South Putnam win. So. The day after the double overtime win at Cloverdale. So, anyway, I will look at the individual matchups for that. I'm going to take things one game at a time. So, I'm only going to look at the roster for North Putnam right now. Well, I already did, in fact, and it's something that our girls can handle. I assure you that, and. Then, assuming they win that game, then we'll take a look at, Monrovia's players specifically. And then, if they win that game, then we'll look at, their 2 potential sectional championship opponents that they will have at that point. The Western Boone Cloverdale winner and then South Putnam. But I'll tell you, last Friday, one reason I really wanted that win over South Putnam was not only to go up 2-0 against South Putnam on the season after they eliminated us from the tournament last year, but also to go above 500 on the season. But it just occurred to me that if we beat, since we're 9-12 now, if we beat Speedway on Thursday, which we should, we'll be 10-12, and then if we beat North Putnam, we'll be 11-12 in the sectional quarterfinal next Tuesday, and then if we beat if we beat North Putnam in the quarterfinal, we'll be 11-12. Then if we beat Monrovia in the semifinal a week from Friday, we'll be 12-12, and that means that we would be playing in the sectional championship game with a chance to go above 500 for the first time this season. So, in conclusion, Cascade has a disappointing senior day loss here against Avon. 53-49, but Avon is a good Class 4A team, and we still will come back and play, at least one game here, hopefully 3 next week at Cascade, and how sweet it would be if after the decade or so that those 7 young ladies, our seniors spent, pouring into this program, all those thousands of hours of blood, sweat, and tears, along with several injuries, if their final game here on this home court was the school's first sectional championship in 11 years, and their first if it was their first sectional championship in 11 years and only their third ever. I'm not going to guarantee anything. I've learned the mistake of that from last year, but I will say that if we bring our A game and have the eye of the tiger all 32 minutes every night, we can do it. But what I want most of all for these young ladies is for them simply to play their best. And I hope, in the course of doing so, I hope they win the sectional. But if they don't, for them to at least be at peace knowing that they have no regrets because they did the absolute best they could. And as long as they do that, we'll all be proud of them. Well, this concludes our broadcast. As always, thank you so much for joining me, and I cordially invite you to do so again Friday at 7:15 for the pregame show as the boys Cascade Cadets challenge the Speedway Spark Plugs, and then again a week from tonight at 5:45 for the pregame show as your Cascade Lady Cadets open sectional play against the North Putnam Lady Cougars. Until we meet again, for AudioSportsOnline.com, this is Lec Zorn reminding you there is a difference only you can make.